90% of you watching this right now are trapped in a financial lie. You think you're doing okay, but you're actually one bad week away from total collapse. In this video, I'm breaking down the 6 levels of wealth using the Machiavelli process. Most Americans spend their entire lives stuck at level 2, thinking they've made it, while the system quietly drains them dry. I'm Ryan. I've spent over 2 years studying the psychology of money, and I can tell you, if you don't know which level you're on, you've already lost the game. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where you stand, why level 2 is the most dangerous trap in the world, and the specific control move you need to reach the top. Stop being a victim of the script. Let's look at the brutal reality of level 1, the survival level. Level 1, the survival level. At the survival level, money is not a tool. It's a threat. Every dollar already has a job before it even hits your bank account. Rent, bills, debt, food, gas, something always waiting, something always overdue, something always stressful. Life at this level runs on tension, not ambition, not long-term plans, just pressure. You don't wake up thinking about building wealth. You wake up thinking about making it through the month. And that difference matters more than most people realize. Because survival mode rewires how you think. When money is tight, your brain stops optimizing for growth. It optimizes for relief. You're not asking, how do I build stability? You're asking, how do I stop this pain right now? That's why people at this level often make decisions that hurt them later. The payday loan, the high-interest credit card, the car they technically can't afford but desperately need, the job they hate but can't leave. None of these are stupidity. They're survival responses. When your back is against the wall, future consequences feel abstract. Immediate stress feels real. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Survival is expensive. Overdraft fees, late fees, interest charges, emergency costs. The less money you have, the more mistakes cost you. A wealthy person pays a bill late, leads to minor annoyance. A survival level person pays a bill late, leads to fees stack, credit score drops, stress spikes. Same mistake, completely different damage. But the biggest danger at level 1 isn't low income. It's instability. 2 people can earn the same paycheck. One feels okay. One feels like they're drowning. Why? Because survival level is defined by lack of margin. No buffer, no breathing room, no safety gap. One unexpected expense, car repair, medical bill, job cut, and everything shakes. That constant fragility creates something brutal, mental exhaustion. You're always calculating, always worrying, always juggling, and exhausted minds make reactive choices, not strategic ones. So what actually moves someone out of survival? Not motivation speeches, not hustle slogans, just one core objective: create margin. Margin is the first real wealth milestone, not a fancy car, not a bigger apartment. Margin. Even a small buffer changes everything, because once survival pressure drops slightly, your brain unlocks something powerful: the ability to think clearly, calmly, rationally. Practical moves that matter at this level. Stabilize cash flow first. Predictability beats income spikes. Cut volatility, not just expenses. Irregular chaos keeps you stuck. Build a tiny emergency buffer. Even $500 changes decision-making psychology. Avoid high-interest traps whenever possible. Interest is silent suffocation at this stage. Focus on damage prevention before wealth building. Leaks sink ships faster than slow engines. This level isn't about getting rich. It's about getting stable. Because stability is what makes growth possible later. Without stability, every plan collapses under stress. And here's something rarely said out loud. There is no shame in survival level, but there is danger in staying unaware of it. Because if you mislabel survival as just normal life, you never build the margin required to escape it. And survival can quietly become permanent. So ask yourself honestly, if one unexpected bill showed up tomorrow, would it shake your entire life? If yes, you're not struggling, you're surviving. And survival requires a completely different strategy. Level 2, the stability illusion. Level 2 feels like progress, and that's exactly why it's dangerous. At this stage, you're no longer in constant panic mode. The bills usually get paid, the lights stay on, the car works, there's food in the fridge, life looks normal, maybe even good. From the outside, everything seems fine, but underneath that calm surface sits something fragile, conditional stability. Nothing is collapsing, but nothing is truly secure either. This is where many people say, I'm doing okay. Yet one job loss, one medical issue, one bad month, and the entire structure wobbles because stability at this level is rented, not owned. Your lifestyle still depends completely on your active income. If the paycheck stops, the stability disappears. That's the illusion. You're not drowning anymore, but you're still floating. There's a psychological shift that happens here. The fear is quieter, but it never fully leaves. You're not terrified like level 1. You're cautious, careful, slightly tense in the background. And here's the trap most people don't see. Comfort begins to replace urgency. Life feels manageable enough that drastic change feels unnecessary. You start thinking, why risk anything? Things are finally stable. But this stability has a hidden weakness. It demands continuous performance. You must keep working, keep earning, keep showing up forever. Because expenses grow with income. Bigger apartment, better car, more subscriptions, more lifestyle upgrades, not reckless spending, just gradual expansion. And slowly, without noticing, your cost of living rises to match your income. This is called lifestyle creep, and it locks millions of Americans into permanent level 2. Income goes up, freedom does not, because higher income without asset building just creates a nicer treadmill. You run faster, but stay in the same place. Another invisible danger at this level, debt normalization. Monthly payments become standard background noise. Car payment, phone payment, credit cards, buy now, pay later plans. Nothing feels extreme, but each payment quietly reduces flexibility. Each obligation tightens dependency on income. Dependency is the real enemy of wealth, not low earnings, not lack of talent, dependency. At level 2, people often chase income increases instead of structural changes. Raise, promotion, side hustle, overtime, more money, same financial design. But wealth rarely comes from earning more alone. It comes from changing what money does once you earn it. Practical shifts that move someone beyond level 2. Stop measuring progress by income alone. Income can grow while fragility stays identical. Attack fixed expenses aggressively. Flexibility creates power. Build margin before upgrading lifestyle. Delayed gratification compounds. Start converting income into assets, even small ones. Ownership changes everything. Reduce dependency on a single income source. Stability loves diversification. Understand this core truth. Level 2 is where people get comfortable enough to stop climbing, yet unstable enough to never feel truly free. It's the most crowded financial level in modern America. Looks safe, feels safe, but keeps people working for decades without real leverage. And the hardest part, nothing feels obviously broken, which makes change psychologically difficult, because humans rarely fix what doesn't feel painful. But hidden fragility is still fragility. So ask yourself something simple. If your income vanished for 6 months, would your life stay intact? Or would the illusion crack? Because level 2 isn't defined by comfort. It's defined by how long your comfort survives disruption. Level 3, the control. Level 3 is where life starts to feel different. Not flashy, not rich, but different in a way that actually matters. For the first time, money stops feeling like something that constantly chases you and starts feeling like something you can breathe around. There's space now, not unlimited space, but enough. Enough to think without pressure squeezing every decision, enough to handle small surprises without panic, enough to say no sometimes. And that word, no, is one of the biggest indicators of level 3. At survival level, you can't say no. At stability illusion level, saying no feels risky. At control level, saying no becomes possible. You're no longer completely dependent on this month's paycheck. Maybe you have an emergency fund, some investments, a side income stream, a skill that gives you real bargaining power, something that creates a buffer between you and financial chaos. That buffer is everything, because level 3 is defined by time protection. You're no longer living month to month in the same fragile way. If income pauses briefly, life doesn't instantly collapse. That psychological shift is massive. Stress drops, clarity increases, decision quality improves. But here's where a new trap quietly appears, and it's one of the most common wealth plateaus. Comfortable control, life feels stable enough, safe enough, predictable enough, you're not struggling, you're not stressed. So the hunger that drove earlier growth begins to fade. This is where many people unconsciously slow down, not because they failed, but because things feel good enough. And good enough is incredibly powerful. It removes urgency, it softens risk tolerance, it makes big moves feel unnecessary. But level 3 has a hidden fragility most people don't see. Your wealth still depends heavily on you. Your skills, your decisions, your presence, your effort. Yes, you have savings. Yes, you have investments. But the machine is still small, still personal, still vulnerable to major disruptions, a market crash, career burnout, health problems, industry shifts. At level 3, you have control, but not true leverage yet. Control means you're stable. Leverage means your systems work harder than you. And confusing those two keeps people stuck here for life. Another subtle danger: identity satisfaction. You start thinking, I'm doing better than most people, which may be true. But comparison-based satisfaction kills exponential growth, because level 3 feels like success compared to lower levels, even if it's still fragile compared to higher ones. Practical upgrades required to move beyond level 3. Shift focus from income to systems. Shift from earning to ownership expansion. Shift from personal effort to scalable structures. Shift from safety building to leverage building. This means things like growing investments instead of just maintaining them, building assets that generate income without your constant input, designing income streams that don't rely on your time, optimizing for scale, not stability alone, because stability protects life. Leverage transforms life. And here's a truth that surprises many people. Level 3 is where intelligent, disciplined, hardworking people often get stuck. Not reckless spenders, not irresponsible earners, but competent, rational adults. Because nothing feels broken. Life works, which makes radical improvement psychologically uncomfortable. Why push harder? Why take bigger risks? Why disrupt stability? But wealth growth is rarely driven by comfort logic. It's driven by long-term vision. So ask yourself something deeper now. Is your financial life designed for maintenance or multiplication? Because level 3 is the fork in the road. Stay here, arrow comfortable, stable, predictable life. Climb higher, arrow requires discomfort, uncertainty, strategic risk. Neither is morally right or wrong, but they lead to completely different futures.